Good day, everyone. Dan LaBert from NAILBA here. Welcome to Engage. Today we have a special guest with us, Jerry Blair, Chief Distribution Officer at North American Company. Many of you will remember Jerry on the main stage at NAILBA last year. He's been with Salmon's Financial Group for the last 15 years. He held the position of Vice President and Chief Distribution Officer for Midland National. And he also spent time with Transamerica in the mid to late 90s prior to joining Salmon's in North America. Jerry, welcome to NAILBA Engage. Thanks for being here. Good to see you virtually.
And great to see you as well. Appreciate the opportunity as always, and thrilled to be a part of the virtual conference. Certainly a change of pace, but we're excited that we can pick up the pieces and move things forward.
Definitely a little different from years past. I think you and I were backstage talking before we're getting ready to walk out on stage, and this year we're in front of a lamp and a computer screen. So how we adjust, right?
That's right.
But let's talk about that. Our position at NAILBA is we want to feature our carrier partners. North American's been a big supporter of NAILBA, especially around the business initiative project. The ways to help BGAs grow, and the more the longer I sit down with you, Jerry, I just want to kind of kick it off. I mean, in times that we're in now, it's important to learn from our success. I'd like to know a little bit about what successes you are celebrating or North American is celebrating right now.
Dan, it's a really good question. Obviously, we've all encountered a lot of challenges this year, unprecedented times certainly, and sometimes you kind of lose sight of where those challenges are. But as I reflect on it, I think some of the biggest successes or wins, if you will, that we've had have come from our people. They've come, first and foremost, I would think of our underwriting and new business teams who have rapidly made adjustments from the corporate underwriting side to the process underwriting side. I think we've made major wins in terms of making it easier to transact business, through the e-application process, the non-fluid underwriting processes, all the way to the e-delivery. So I think those are areas that certainly stand out for me. And I think the other wins too, given all of the turmoil, is just, really proud of the way our team has stayed in the game. They've hit the challenges head on and addressed them, and not saying every day is perfect, but for the most part, they tackle it one day at a time. And I feel like they've stayed in the game, which I think for me, I consider that to be a big win.
Agreed. And we could be entering a time where it's sort of the golden age of life insurance, right? I mean, just listen to all the adjustments that you guys had to pivot to that makes bridging that life insurance gap so much easier for all the GAs and the independent advisors in our audience. But moving forward, it's a different world, right? We're not all going to be used to what the new normal may be. So that being said, what do you see as the biggest challenges, maybe two or three of them that carriers are facing moving forward? And let me bait you with this question a little bit, because the GAs and the advisors out there, once you open up a program, it's kind of hard to take it away, especially if they're having to pivot to virtual sales. So what challenges, and that could be a moot point, but what challenges do you see carriers facing over the next 2-3 years?
Dan, I think it's kind of a balancing act. I think, many carriers, certainly us, we're dealing with legacy issues. We're dealing with the need to, update, improve the technology to make that end-to-end process smoother, right? We have to find ways to drive our acquisition expenses down, as well as maintenance expense. But you're balancing that with a low interest rate environment. Yeah. In the reality of it, I think the biggest overall challenge that we face as an industry over the next 2 to 3 years is just that. It's trying to balance the product, the caps and the PARs if you're selling an IUL or an FIA, the guarantees that are baked into the product, trying to balance that, right, with the low interest rate environment and what's predicted to stay low for quite some time. So, again, need to invest in technology, to grow and make it easier, but also the need to have competitive product to give the consumer ultimately what they're looking for.
Well, the insurance industry has always been slow to adapt when it comes to technology. Now we kind of don't have a choice. You had mentioned the low interest environment. That's definitely a challenge, and will continue to be so. But let me throw a hard fastball at you. AG 49A. That's a whole other animal. It has different carriers are having to respond in different ways. I'm not sure what the right answer is, but I'd love to know what you think. Where does that exactly leave carriers? But even more specific to you, where does that position North American?
Yeah, so I'll start with the North American side first. I guess the old saying, it's better to be lucky than good. Mm-hmm. We were late to the game, right? We didn't really enter what I might consider kind of a mega multiplier approach or a buy-up multiplier. Right. So AG 49 really has a very minimal impact on us today. We have to address our loan spread a little bit, and we have a very small built-in guarantee that we'll have to remove. But it was a minor part in terms of the impact to us in the overall. Mm-hmm. I think from an industry standpoint, though, there's a lot of creative people in our industry, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people sitting in boardrooms right now trying to figure out, how do we make the product appealing, for the upside, the growth aspect, but stay within the regulatory guidelines. So that is just that working on that balancing act. Again, the consumer is going to want a product that can accumulate dollars for future use, and I think companies are going to have to get creative to figure out the exact solution for that.
Well, there's no shortage of creativity in this industry, and I often wonder will the bonuses and the multipliers still be in there? Will they just not be illustrated? I mean, I think that's what it boils down to. But transparency is key. As long as we're transparent, the regulators don't come marching up the steps of the life insurance industry. Jerry, I want to pivot to brokerage general agencies, the independent advisors they work with. As you know, NAILBA has reached to well over 1,100 broker general agencies, approximately 330,000 independent advisors, all follow our material. I'd like to know how North American right now is positioned to help agencies and agents, grow their business during this time of change. I mean, there's lots of plans that have been put in place, and then there's a big pivot to virtual. So you guys had a good opportunity to sort of take inventory of what's working and what's not working. So can you kind of share some of that secret sauce and just where there's growth opportunities for agencies and advisors?
Yeah, we'd love to, Dan. I mean, I think the fundamentals of the business haven't changed for many years. We have to help advisors get in front of clients and talk about, their needs, their goals, what concerns them, what keeps them up at night. I think what we're encountering now is pretty much the same for everybody, which is agents, especially agents with larger blocks, have been able to go back and kind of do that policy review. But we've yet to crack the code on how to prospect and add new clients, in mass to the agents and the agencies. So our team is focused on just that. We're not out pitching a product necessarily today or the details of a product as much as we are really focusing on how can we bring case design or ideas to help the agencies or the marketers within those agencies ultimately get to the agent who's having that conversation with clients, and we're giving them the tools that they need to go back to existing, but we're also doing our best to stretch their horizon a little bit to get them comfortable to prospect for new, and whether it's replacing, what would have come from seminars perhaps or workshops, but there's a void there, right? We know that there's a large gap in terms of those who need insurance and where we're at today, and if we can help crack the code to get to them, we think we can help the agencies win.
You mentioned case design. I mean, that's key, right? So many BGAs are now having their case managers deal with so many advanced types of cases. They really need that foundation work laid for them so they could, in short, increase placement. Jerry, I'm going to hit you with one curveball, not scripted, but I promise compliance will not get mad at you.
All right.
We had the opportunity to get to know each other in the past 2 years. You had a meeting with NAILBA board member John Gilbert, which is how you and I got connected. I was able to discuss the value prop of the new NAILBA. You've North Americans now supported NAILBA 2 years in a row, which we're very appreciative of. I would just like to hit you with the curveball question of saying, tell us why. Tell us why you make the investment in NAILBA. Obviously, you're donating your time. You've been with our virtual symposium. You've been on the main stage last year. Clearly, you're finding value on positioning North American. If you wouldn't mind taking that sort of softball / curveball, I'd really welcome the answer.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, I think it starts with you and your leadership. I mean, I love the direction that you're taking NAILBA. You know, as we started talking early on, I think we talked about the NAILBA of the past and some of the things that, you know, I had not personally been involved with, but heard about. Yeah. You know, I love the support that it's bringing to the organization. I think that you're, you know, the way you're going at it, the way that you work with the carriers, the opportunity that you provide us, there was no question in our mind. We wanted to be a part of it. We want to continue to grow with the organization and figure out how we can best support our customer base, you know, which is the IMO or the MGA.
I appreciate you saying that. I'll send you the check in the mail. But thank you so much. We really appreciate the update from North American. We appreciate you taking the time to engage with us and share the message out to all of our BGAs and independent advisors watching NAILBA Engage. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, Jerry Blair, Chief Distribution Officer at North American Company.
Thank you, Dan.
Hi, I'm Katie Bartling, Vice President of Marketing for North American. On behalf of all of us at North American, we are proud to sponsor NAILBA's 2020 Engage event and are grateful for the opportunity to work with all of you in the BGA industry. While I have to admit, I will miss seeing all of you in person, shaking hands, sharing stories, and learning about your business. But I'm so thankful that NAILBA has put together a fantastic virtual event to keep us connected during these crazy times. Priorities. Has that word changed for you in recent months? I know it has for me. The past few months have helped me reevaluate priorities from a personal perspective as a mother, wife, and daughter, and from a professional perspective as a leader and business partner. If you're anything like me, you're more focused than ever before on making sure the most important things stay the most important things, at home and at work. I'm sure the same goes for you, your family, and your business. No doubt, we're in a transformative time for so many reasons, and business is changing rapidly. But some key priorities will always shine through. For us, that's enabling advisors and agencies to protect the financial futures of their clients. We're committed to helping BGAs and advisors fulfill their priorities to customers. I want to touch on a few key themes that we've seen emerge in recent months. Customers are seeking guarantees. In the midst of the uncertainty in the world today, we have seen many agencies, advisors, and clients look for life insurance with guarantees. We understand this need, and we're committed to supporting it with a range of guarantee-focused products. While many are exiting the space, we are committed to it and showed that by increasing our premium limits this past July. We've also seen a trend from clients about the future of care. In light of the pandemic, clients are concerned about nursing home care. Many families wanted to provide care at home even before the pandemic, and we'll likely see this trend expand. That's where life insurance with living benefits comes in, giving customers the freedom to age at home by offering benefits to offset these costs. We have substantial offerings in this category on all product lines, including term insurance. Let's talk about sales support. Now is not the time to pull back on wholesaler support, marketing support, and digital tools for agencies. We remain committed to not only maintaining this support, but investing in these areas so we can provide even more value to you. Finally, ease of doing business and underwriting. We know this is a main component of what makes your business run. So I'm excited to pass the baton to my friend and colleague, Chris Regioni, to talk more about this area.
Thank you, Katie. Hi, I'm Chris Regioni, Chief Underwriter at North American. The times we're in certainly pose no shortage of challenges. And I'd like to highlight some of the ways I think the competitiveness of North American underwriting is really helping meet those challenges and creating new opportunities today. We take a holistic approach when we underwrite your client's case. North American understands the art of underwriting, and not every case is the same. Our commitment to building partnerships is something we are passionate about. That is why we take pride in our relationships, working diligently with you and our reinsurance partners when needed to provide the best offer. In addition, we've worked hard to build a comprehensive digital process, including our e-app, online part 2, accelerated underwriting, right away, e-delivery, and e-signature. We understand you have many companies that you can write your business with. Once you experience our underwriting, the passion we have for relationships, I know will be a carrier of choice for you. I look forward to you experiencing North American underwriting. And now I'll pass it back to you, Katie.
Thanks, Chris. I couldn't agree more about our passion for building relationships. It's been amazing to see the creativity, nimbleness, and forward-thinking solutions that have come from so many of you and your organizations during these past few months. I'm excited to hear Tiffany, Eric, Edward, and Brian in the upcoming session about BGA thought leadership and business initiatives. I'm sure they'll share even more places where you're moving the needle and transforming the business. North American is committed to you and your clients, and we thank you for the opportunity to partner and earn your business. Enjoy NAILBA's 2020 Engage event.